If you would like to support the Path of Night podcast and the crew in our projects, we currently accept contributions to coffee.com/Path of Night. And thank you for listening.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same, so listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Last time on Path of Night, the coterie gathers at Wynn's Haven to discuss the results of the night's court and to attempt to sort out the overwhelming amount of problems remaining. Tension rises between Miles and Johnny. Britta, Wynn, and Neil do their best to help bring everyone back into conversation. Together, they choose to prioritize finding their missing Bruja ally Jane. After the coterie spends time sorting out its problems and figuring out what path they will take next, there is a rustling in the woods, a screech for help. And Johnny, you probably recognize it first, but Wynn, right there with you, you can hear Kabir cry out in pain.
Wynn takes off running.
As does Johnny.
Same.
As a group of you go running into the woods,
I keep people on my side because fuck, I'm dead out here. We already established that.
You arrive to where Kabir is hoisted off the ground and held in the long talons of who you recognize to be Raven. And he is holding a fistful of mashed up flowers, and his clothes are shredded, and talons have disemboweled him, and his intestines just kind of hang out past his waist. And the Ravnos is reduced to this whimpering, crying thing after having been brutally savaged by Raven.
Raven, let him go!
You know this man? She drops him on the ground.
Yes, I don't know how he knows where I live, but I know him.
I found him skulking while I was on my way to see you.
Kabir, you with me?
My friend. This bitch.
Johnny rushes over to Kabir and basically kind of puts himself in between him and Raven.
Wynn kind of looks very lost as to who to go to, but she kind of gives Raven a look like, I get it, but you fucked up, and goes over to Kabir and just kind of puts her hands up like she doesn't know what to do to try and help.
Raven just kind of watches with a detached expression as people tend to Kabir. Kabir seems perfectly fine with you helping him.
What are you doing here?
I was coming to bring you flowers on the date, as promised.
Wynn kind of sucks on her lips a little bit, like this is the sweetest thing anyone's ever done, and it's bleeding out in front of her. How do I help you?
I need to heal. She hits very hard.
Yeah, she does. She hits like a brick shithouse.
She hits very hard like a brick shithouse.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Do you need me to, put those back inside you?
They go back inside, yes.
Okay. And Wynn just kind of carefully moves his intestines back inside him.
Yeah, he grabs at his intestines and tries to help you kind of mash everything back in.
While this is occurring, Britta is looking to see if she can sight out some animal in the woods.
I think he needs some blood.
Peculiarly, you see a massive murder of crows, up in the branches, eyeing Kabir's intestines.
Well, that's not the animal that I'm looking for. They don't seem worth the one blood point for them. I'm going to be hunting for something else.
Okay, you're going to wander off and roll perception plus survival.
I am. I'm going to spend a willpower, though.
Subtract your aspects from that difficulty. It's perception.
Okay. The extra willpower is gone right now, right?
Yes, that was only for the... Sorry.
Yep.
It's diff 8, then drops down to diff 7 for you.
Okay. 2 successes counting the willpower.
Okay. Britta heads off into the woods. Raven kind of like regards Kabir with this like ancient animosity and just kind of waits for you to get rid of the Ravenous so that she can talk to you. Seeming just unfazed by the fact that she shredded him to the brink of like death.
Wynn, do you want maybe Johnny and I to bring your guest back that way to your...
Yeah, at least get him under the tarp.
Yeah, and then maybe you can have a chat with...
Wynn kind of closes her eyes like she's trying to piece logic out of this situation. And yeah, that would probably be for the best.
Okay.
Don't worry, I got him.
Okay.
Johnny scoops up Kabir.
Don't worry, buddy. There's duct tape and a beanbag chair back there for you. So...
Great.
Johnny will reach his hand up to his mouth, bite his hand, and as he's carrying Kabir over, offer up a little bit of blood to Kabir.
Kabir will drink from Johnny. He takes 5.
Tag damage.
Tag. If he's to heal a health level, he needs 5 blood from you.
Do you got 5?
Johnny has 5.
Does he have more than 5?
No.
What do you mean no?
I have 5.
Thank you, my friend.
Johnny looks down at him with a ravenous look.
My friend.
We need to go somewhere and feed. Please tell me you're going to be all right.
I will be okay, my friend.
Hey, I'll watch him. You go take care of yourself. Now, somewhere else, maybe.
Johnny, blinking back like near hunger frenzy, nods at you and goes stalking off into the night.
Okay, yeah, let's just get you to Wynn's house.
Raven starts scraping her claws against the tree to wipe the blood off of it. You haven't been back to these woods for some time.
No. It's been a while.
I received your message.
Why didn't you come?
You aren't in these woods, and I don't travel to cities. Not when I can help it.
Okay, I'll remember that for the future. I have pages of the book.
Her head kind of tilts to the side. And the codex itself?
Wasn't able to retrieve it.
What happened?
Was stolen by a demon-possessed former Ventru.
It's free?
Yes.
For a moment, she actually looks unnervous.
There was some bargain making to get it loose.
I see. And everyone made it out?
For a price.
Who paid the price?
Miles and Neil.
Rows of fangs kind of manifest between her lips, and she kind of like turns, sniffing the air to see if she might still be able to track them. I see.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that among your companions there is an infection.
It'll be gone soon enough. That was part of the bargain.
It has never gone by its own volition. Some sicknesses must be bled out. I am sorry that this has happened to your people. I know what it's like.
Raven, you're my people too. And I don't know how to elegantly say stay the fuck away from them. But if bleeding it out needs to be done, that falls to me.
I cannot make that promise. The creature that is bound must remain bound. And my sisters and I swore long ago to ensure that it stays bound. And if for some reason it is gone free, that matter will be resolved. And those responsible will meet final death.
It'll be rebound in a month.
Where is it now?
I don't think I can tell you that.
I think you can.
I think I won't.
Then it is among your people.
Wynn is just quiet, maintaining eye contact, not confirming or denying.
Perhaps it was Neil.
I'm not going to help you kill the people that I care about.
That's because you don't realize that it is an act of mercy. Where are the pages?
Wynn reaches in her back pocket and offers them to her.
She accepts them. And who has the rest?
Arabella Rollins.
That woman has lived a long time. I will seek out Arabella Rollins. You get rid of that thing, or I must. I will trust you with that. She kind of like pulls this like the hooded cloak that she wears up over her like wet curly black hair, and with her like weird kind of like torn up Puritan clothes that she wears under it, you can kind of see that these nights her feet are just totally bare, and the much smaller than you woman kind of turns, makes her way off into the dark.
Why don't you go to cities?
In cities they called my sisters and I witch, and they did things to us that I will not welcome again. I will not allow it. So I avoid cities. She just turns and goes.
Wynn kind of stands there for a minute, just whatever rain is still coming down just kind of hits her on the white braid on top of her head, trickles down the scales on the side of her head. Definitely never bringing people to my house again.
We pick up a few nights later. The coterie spent nights researching into a new potential ghoul to serve Miles and the whereabouts of Jane. After doing some research and putting in your due diligence, you find that there is indeed a personal possession of hers located in the sheriff's office, a clipboard that she kind of donated and uses for her projects under the guise as one of the bully boys. And more importantly, perhaps, Johnny is aware of the location of her haven. So despite her having not been there for some time, she has personal effects that Neil may use for his magics. So the group of you are together. Miles, I believe they're loaded into the Blazer.
Into the Blazer.
Who's driving?
Johnny can drive.
Johnny, you're driving. Where are you headed?
So the clipboard that we found at the sheriff's office, that is part of what he needs, or is that going to be sufficient or not enough?
Neil isn't completely sure. It's actually covered by like art that she's done with like markers and like all sorts of like neat little like
absolutely
designs.
it's one of those her. It's one of those things where you can absolutely tell this is well loved by somebody. It's been scratched like band logos and
like
all
a whole bunch
kinds
of cool S's on it.
Like a lot of S's.
I mean, I feel like Jane's more of kind of like a 80s like party like punk chick than she is a 90s kind of person, but she's got a little bit more of a Joan Jett vibe, right?
Yes.
Neil, do you think this all of the scratch work she's put into this clipboard is going to be enough, or should we go to her haven?
To be totally honest, I don't know. Here's what I'm looking for. Some of this is a little mundane, some of it isn't. If I can get like a good starting point of where she was last, so her haven might be like a good place to be. And I can kind of look into these things in the meantime.
Maybe take a look at this clipboard to see if you see any patterns. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll play around with it.
All right.
What's the? She gave this to the sheriff's office. Or she cares about this.
No. She just whenever she's going through the nightly tasks for the office. This is the clipboard she works with.
So
she's whenever she's on the phone, she's scratching into this thing.
So this is her. If she were to have a schedule of like regular activities, this is the thing she would write it on.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So head towards her haven either way, and I'll start playing around with this.
Sounds good to me. How's everybody else doing? Need me to stop anywhere?
No, I'm feeling pretty good.
Ready to try and help.
You're looking pretty good tonight, Wynn. Did you take a shower or something?
Or something.
Wait, what is the or something option?
Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, just usually she's got that kind of like, layer of forest grime running up her jeans, but it looks like you actually like may have dusted them off.
I have a hose spigot. I don't mean to brag.
I thought it might have rained recently too, so.
Is Kabir doing all right?
Yeah, he's making a recovery. I've let him stay at my place for a while. I sleep in the ground. No big deal.
And does he like sleep on the ground next to you or something?
No, I let him have my bed.
He must be really excited about that.
I mean, he had his guts half ripped out, so he's excited is a sliding scale.
Would it be a bad move to say he was bursting with joy?
I will neither confirm nor deny this.
Johnny turns oh no, you're probably sitting in the front
Sitting
seat.
in the front seat.
Yeah, he looks over at you with a expression of half anger and amusement and just impressed awe at the bursting joke.
But I've come loaded to bear, just in case. I hope you people have at least put a few armaments on. We are in a city under siege.
Neil absolutely has not, but he does have his fanny pack.
Also, for that matter, everybody, I mean, it's been a couple of days and we still haven't heard from Jane, so something's definitely up. Also, a location of her haven is kind of a sensitive thing. I wouldn't normally bring you all here unless it was actually something important, so please keep in mind that this is maybe a step over the line in showing you into her life a little bit.
If you want, we can just stay in the car and...
No, I'd rather have you with me than not. I'm just reminding you that this is kind of private.
No, I mean, like, everyone can stay in the car, me included, and I can just go take a look.
Well, the haven might also give us a clue about what's going on with her, too.
Well,
Wait,
that's
but
why
that-
we're going.
Right. But at the interior, like seeing the inside.
I meant seeing the inside.
You can be in that separate place.
Let's save your ability to leave.
Okay, I'm just saying.
He kind of motions with his hand, like, you know, as if he's referring to the physical world. He goes, "Yeah, let's leave that for another time, huh?"
Okay, I'm just saying, if we wanted to look inside without having everybody tromp around inside, it's
Gotcha.
an option for privacy.
But we can be respectful of the fact that we probably shouldn't know where her haven is, and we are starting to know because it's an emergency.
He
and
snaps
not
his
telling
fingers
anyone.
and kind of nods. That's all I'm asking.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that seems totally fine. That's fine. As they're driving, Neil is just sort of like playing with the clipboard and looking at stuff, trying to get impressions off of it in that like weird Auspex-y Malkavian way that he does. While they're all sort of talking, he's going to use Spirit's Touch and just try and get Jane impressions off of it.
Okay.
This is the first time we've used that ability in
Good.
this game so far.
Yes. Had it since season 1. I've never used it.
This is the bad power that makes you go crazy.
Joke's on you, I'm a Malkavian.
Yeah, I was like, he started that way.
Perhaps you don't know how deep this pond goes.
You have 7.
3 successes.
The first thing you sense is this deep anxiety and resentment. And some of that might be self-loathing, but there is something going on that has her deeply troubled. In addition to this, you actually sense this meticulous, sharp mind. Jane is, just by holding this, you get a sensation that Jane is actually far more clever than she tends to let on. And lastly, you get this sense of like a departing, like some sort of ending that she's experiencing.
Hey, Johnny, was Jane going anywhere?
Not that I'm aware of.
'Cause, she's smart as a whip, but like, what was going on with her? Like, mentally, where was she at? Is there a possibility that she just left without saying anything?
I don't think that's likely. But you're asking about emotional state?
I'm asking for context for an emotional state.
Think about all brouhaha in the city and what we've been going through over the past few months.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think we are going to have to go to her haven.
Well, I'm almost there.
Okay. Oh, Jane.
After a short drive, you pull up to this tall kind of apartment complex. Johnny, you're aware that she has like a nice like loft up top that kind of gives like a nice view of the city.
She actually, she stays up on the top. She's got a loft that's got a pretty good view over everything and some secure spots in the back where she can stay out of sunlight. He rummages around in the pocket of his flannel, pulls out a piece of paper. I got the code to get into the building right here. Jumps out of the blazer.
Hey, if we go in there, has anyone... I mean, you must have, not just the sheriff, like, you cased crime scenes before, right? Nobody touch anything? If you can help it?
A solid plan. Nobody touch anything.
Just I want to...
Not really in the business of forensics.
Well, I'm not saying this is necessarily a crime scene. I'm just saying, like, I want to get an impression of Jane,
Right.
not us touching Jane.
Okay, so before you get done what you need to do there, we just leave it so that you can see the patterns, right?
Step one is we make sure the whole place is secure. I can't have you kneeling down and worshipping whatever weird moon entities you talk to.
Okay, wasn't really the plan.
Look, the point is, we're going to make sure the place is clear. Then you can do your rituals or whatever.
But making sure the place is clear doesn't mean we have to go touching everything.
I was just going to do a regular look first, but okay.
Sounds good.
Johnny shuts the blazer, locks it up after everyone's out, and the crew goes walking over to the building. He kind of just puts an eye out to look to see if there's anybody watching or following us.
Kind of shifting your eyes around. You don't see anyone having any particular interest in the group of you as you make your approach to the complex.
Johnny, being easily satisfied by a cursory glance, puts in the code for the building, opens up the main doors, and we head up to Jane's loft.
The group of you head to an elevator, and
It's one of those cool kind of lofts.
yeah, and you hear like clink, 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 clink of like the chain that operates the elevator, and you make your way up. There's like a teeny tiny hallway that's like just a few steps between the elevator and what's like the front door of her home.
Is it a freight elevator where it's basically just a grated door that you pull down manually? Yeah.
I'm super jealous now.
Yep.
Johnny flashing back to his, like, fucking cot under a bar. Like, what the hell?
My little concrete box of heaven.
We should probably knock.
I don't know if there's necessarily a door. I think the clinking is the knocking that somebody's arrived.
Yeah, we just got described a door.
There is a door.
Oh.
It's a very short hallway with like it literally goes from that door to the next with just like a few steps
Gotcha.
apart.
Yep.
But the other door kind of just opens.
All right. Give it a knock.
There's no response on the other end.
Is it locked?
When you check, it is not locked. Like the doorknob is like very like kind of like loose and hangs when you like jostle it.
Give it a push open.
It pushes. It's like a thick metal, so like it's got some weight to it. But there's nothing like keeping the door locked or anything like that.
Does it look like it was busted open, or does it look like this is just usually how it is?
Looks like something was done to it.
Hey, Johnny, does she usually keep her door locked here?
Johnny is razor focused at this point and kind of very gently shakes his head no, but doesn't say anything, and unlooses the matte black axe from where it was kind of holstered under his jacket and kind of slowly moves in, being very quiet and careful as he's kind of looking around, casing the place, looking for unknown threats.
When you creep in, you hear the crinkling of paper underneath your boots. And it's very, very dark in here. It looks like the sunproofing is like still down, so it's even blocking like light pollution from the city. And you're just stepping into this big dark space.
Are we turning on lights or do you want eyes?
I'm fine turning the lights on. We just did a big knock. It's not like if somebody's in here, they don't know we're here. I don't know, look around. And Neil like reaches a hand out, sort of blindly looks around for like a light switch.
Yeah, you find one.
And just
You flip the switch on, and again, there are these very, very thick, kind of like heavy black curtains that block these like huge, almost like floor-to-ceiling windows that like line one of the walls. Around, this is definitely kind of like a very cared for haven. There's like a bar to it. There's like a bunch of like stool seats. She's got like guitars that she keeps like on the walls, and there's all sorts of like signatures on them from various like bands that Jane was into. It's not like the kind of collection where she just put tons of money into it. It's the kind of collection that she built over time through like hard work and going to shows and doing this. Yeah. It wasn't collected for like value. It was collected because of, these are her passions.
Right.
Of record collection. There's couches. There's this like big, like thick TV. Then you notice a glass coffee table is smashed. There's papers everywhere. A lot of drawers and cabinets are torn open. And it looks like haphazardly someone or a group of people ripped through this area looking for something.
Without touching anything, Britta's going to walk over and see if she can read some of the papers that are strewn about.
The papers largely come in the form of bills, documents, and a lot of it is associated with various names, all of them women.
Johnny, when you want to make sure the rest of this apartment is clear?
Yep.
I think through a quick tag team kind of room clearing effort, Wynn and Johnny go through the apartment to make sure there's no obvious threats.
So you don't find any obvious threats. The bedroom door is completely smashed in. And there you kind of see, again, massively sunproofed. There is a large, nice queen size bed. And it has, I forgot what it's called. It's almost so it hangs over
Canopy?
Yes, there's a nice, neat looking black canopy that kind of rests over the bed itself.
I do appreciate her style.
Yeah,
Checking under the canopy, nothing is under there.
No.
I think maybe she was helping people. All these documents, they seem to have random women's names, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. The bills and everything.
Or it's all her. That she's operating under different pseudonyms, so she's harder to trace.
That could be true, too.
While they're all looking around and reading things, Neil's still standing in the doorway and just trying to get a really good read on what happened here. His general impressions of what's going on first before he goes in to look around.
I mean, pretty quickly you piece together that there's been a break-in. It does not look like they were there for valuables because the TV's left. The DVD player's left.
Oh, but the guitars are still there.
I mean,
the guitars are still there.
The TV's pretty much impossible to move on your own.
It is.
1999's TV. That TV is fucking
It is a
heavy.
big, thick TV, yeah.
I am going to use Eyes of Chaos.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of sprawl and lived in space here, so it seems sort of ideal. Let me know what my difficulty is.
Difficulty 8.
6 successes.
Okay, with 6 successes, you very quickly get the impression that she is someone who's kind of hiding something. She definitely put this whole place together because she intended to spend a great deal of her time here. More than most kindred. For Bruja, she's got a lot of security measures that she had put into place. She is not, this is atypical of a neonate. Not a lot of neonates kind of can get a home like this as their haven. The big thing that you get a sense of is that this is not staged. Someone came in here, someone actually took her. You absolutely get the impression that this is not part of the jihad. Something has interfered with the games kindred play and something has gone awry here.
So Neil just stands in the doorway, sort of eyes unfocused in that way where he seems to be looking, taking in everything at once and not really, picking out details at the same time as he picks out the larger picture. And then looks over towards Johnny, presumably as he comes out of the bedroom or something. He goes, where did Jane get her money?
I don't know.
Britta, you said you think maybe she was helping women or when maybe it was aliases or something. Yeah. I don't know, but she had a lot more resources than you'd think Jane would have. She spent a hell of a lot of time here. I know she was always doing stuff and always busy for the domain, but we do that kind of stuff too, and we're not in our domains and we're not in our havens nearly as much as she was. But Jane was pretty strong. She's a Bruja. She's somebody took her. Somebody definitely took her from here.
Something from her past has caught her.
It's not the jihad. It's not kindred.
We have a past before that too.
It's possible, but how many things from your past can smash their way into your haven and take you when you're strong like Jane was?
To be perfectly honest, too, if you look at the smashing, this doesn't look like potence.
It also depends on the time.
This doesn't feel like the killing spree. This isn't Sabat.
No,
there'd be a lot more obvious signs, claw marks, things like that.
This is I don't know what the hell this is, but something took her, and I don't think it was kindred, Johnny. But how many? They came at us during the day too, and we still. How many things from your past? If going off Miles' theory, how many How many things can come in here and just take a brouhaha in her haven? A haven that had
None.
way more security measures than Miles, your house has.
None. The Brewha's office is aware of all of the criminal organizations in New Haven. We didn't have any enemies amongst them currently.
Jane was connected to Suarez, though, wasn't she?
Oh, I don't know.
She knew Suarez.
Suarez is a cop. Was a cop. That's not the... Yeah, I don't know.
No, my point is
He was
that...
someone from her past that did her right.
But did that make her an enemy of the people he's put away?
So should we just call him and ask him if he's seen her then? Because, I mean, it might be a little suspicious, but if he knows her...
I mean, do we have his number?
I mean, he was publicly listed. We could get his number. That's not hard. Even if we don't have his number.
We can do that afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's the
Yeah.
right call. I'm just saying...
Let's take a look around more.
I'm
see
gonna
if we can
look around.
gather more clues.
Also, if Britta was right and she's helping, let's say, battered women get away from abusers, that could make her some not small number of enemies.
Yeah, but how many enemies can smash their way into a Brujah's heavily protected haven?
I mean, smashing their way in is one thing, but
And then
taking off with her, that's another.
If they had a hostage.
Jane, I'm sure, has her fair share of secrets from her past. But she was not the type to hide anything from the sheriff's office that could come back to bite her.
Does Jane have a waterbed?
What?
Does Jane have a waterbed?
What does that have to...
It would help a lot. Or a fish tank.
Her bedroom's over there. Take a look.
We didn't touch anything, as per your request.
I go to look if Jane has some sort of fish tank in here, because it seems to match the aesthetic, or if her bed is a waterbed.
She has neither.
Damn it.
Bunch of alcohol bottles, maybe.
No.
Toilet?
I look in the bathroom. Has the bathroom been touched? Like, has anyone been in there?
No.
No. Toilet's not going to help. Not this time.
What is your obsession with water?
Water has memory.
The fuck does that mean?
It means that water has memory, and some of us have made covenants with Enki to be able to understand it and to see what it shows. So if she had a fucking fish tank, I could see what happened in this room, but she doesn't. And if she had a waterbed, I could see what happened in there, but I don't, because she doesn't. So we're gonna have to do things a little bit different.
So you're telling me water records time for you?
I mean, it makes sense. The water cycle, all water is recycled.
Only some water.
All right.
So what can we do differently? Would these papers help you more than they'd help me? Is there stuff that you can touch and look at?
I don't know. I need like a face or a name. I could try Jane. I only have a couple of these though. From here, maybe here's a starting point. It's only been a couple of nights, so. And he unzips his fanny pack and pulls out a long length of white satin ribbon.
Hey, Neil?
Yeah.
Would, if there's any, Britta will turn on her heightened senses for vision and look at the glass table to try and see if she can spot any blood. Is there any blood? Would that help, whatever you're doing?
You do not spot any blood.
Oh, I don't see any.
I mean, yeah, it would have been helpful, but it's fine.
Do you see fingerprints?
Well, hopefully there's a lot of her stuff in here. What of her, I mean, Johnny, you knew her the best. What in here was the most, like, personal to her? I mean, obviously this whole place is personal to her, but what is the thing that is the most essence of Jane? Any little bit helps. A clipboard could work fine, but, I mean, we're at the heart of it here.
This whole place is a shrine of everything she loved. If you need a place that's probably got the most energy of her, I'd lay right in her bed if I were you.
Is that okay? If she gets mad at me about it, like that, I'm telling her this is your idea. And he starts to lay down on the bed.
The bed's pretty comfy.
As he's there, he starts unrolling the white satin ribbon and tries to just picture Jane, says her name in his head, and surrounds himself with her energy and like the heart of her haven, and then looks at Johnny. I was like, hey man, you got a lighter on you, right?
Yeah. Reaches into his pocket, removes his Zippo, and kind of holds it up.
Do me a favor and light the end of this ribbon. And if we gotta go, if it's time to go, we gotta go, because I only got a couple of these.
I'm sorry, what?
Just light the end of the ribbon for me, and if I say, hey, we gotta go now, then
okay.
Let's hurry up, because we got a limited window here.
He looks like he has limited understanding of what he means, but he does understand light the end of the ribbon, so he reaches out, flips the Zippo, and lights the end of the ribbon on fire.
And Lex, I'm going to try and trace the path.
Roll it.
Or rather, I guess, illuminate the trail of prey. That's the...
Yep.
5 successes, so success.
Okay. A trail is lightly illuminated for you, and you're able to follow it.
It's faint because it's a little bit old, but there's enough there. Okay, everybody, we gotta go. We got limited time, so follow me.
All right.
And he's like already looking at something that no one else can see, like he's following a rope, or some sort of obvious illuminated path. And he just goes back out, presumably back to the elevator.
It does lead to the elevator, yes.
Okay, well, we gotta go this way, and hopefully this will help. I'm gonna be concentrating elsewhere, though, so if we're gonna be walking around the streets of New Haven, can you guys make sure that I'm not gonna be paying attention to anything except for this?
I'm keeping an eye out.
Okay, thank you. And he starts following the trail of Jane.
Okay, the trail does lead out onto the street, so you're probably gonna need to follow in a vehicle.
Okay, let's get in the car and just follow my directions. Don't drive too fast, though. I might lose it.
Miles, mind if he sits shotgun?
I assume so.
Johnny loads up the blazer with his coterie, gets his dowsing rod in the front seat, and he starts driving, following Neil's directions.
Neil, you follow the directions, and it leads to a cul-de-sac not too far from the edge of the park. And as you head into the cul-de-sac, Wynn, you recognize where you're going. And before even Neil says we're here, you arrive to Miss Perillo's home, Joey's mom.
Oh, shit.
Hey, we're here. This is...
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this is Joey's house.
This is Joey's house? Why are we at Joey's house?
I don't know why we're at Joey's house. Joey said that he was talking to his mom, that his mom could see him.
You've been here before?
Yeah, I brought something to his mom.
Is his mom a medium?
That was going to be my question.
As far as I know, no. I don't think she saw him when we dropped off the whistle.
Is that her car in the driveway?
Yeah.
Lex, are there any other vehicles in the driveway?
No, specifically not.
Just the one?
Right.
Does the house look normal, looking it over with that heightened vision?
This house looks like every other house in the cul-de-sac. They're actually like designed the same and kind of all mirror each other.
Well, so... Okay, I don't know what this means, but this is where the trail ends.
This is a weird scenario.
Did Jane have anything to do with the dead?
No, not that I know of. It's a pretty small circle in New Haven.
All right. Wynn with me up front. We're going to go check. We're going to go through the front door by knocking.
Hold on. Wynn, have you had interaction with this woman before?
I was an owl, but yeah.
Maybe we don't just go rolling up on this woman's front door, the whole group of us.
I mean, you guys can stay and keep an eye out, but me and Wynn should approach the front door.
It's just the two of you?
Yeah, and then the three of you can eyes out, look through windows without trying to be super conspicuous.
Once again, I can just go look.
Maybe
if
that's
you
worth
want.
a shot.
What's possible negative?
Possible negative? I'm out there doing stuff and something bad happens to my body.
Which we won't let happen.
So nothing can interfere with your looking?
The world's a big place, Miles, but...
Okay. If you think it's a possibility, but...
I think it might have been a bad idea at a chantry where there was weird spirits walking around it.
Yeah, that was
like
what
Salem.
That was what made me hesitant.
But
last
this
time.
is a house in the suburbs of New Haven. I have a feeling he'll be all right.
Well, then let's hold in the car and you can do that.
Just a quick look.
Yeah.
Neil, can Medium see you when you do your... And she makes little walkie motions with her fingers.
I do not know the answer to that question.
We'll find out soon enough. Let's give it a shot.
I'm going to step outside my body, so you'll be able to tell me pretty quick if you do.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can see and hear everything.
Okay.
Johnny pops some Morley into his mouth. See how this works. Lights up.
All right, I haven't really done this a whole lot, so okay, here we go. And Neil will try and force his mind into the astral realm.
Go for it.
Jitters. He's not able to do it.
Jitters?
I mean, if I fuck up the roll, yeah, I just get too nervous.
Dag nabbit.
Botch.
I mean, yeah, right?
I think a botch on that would be bad, wouldn't it?
So Neil will spend a point of willpower, and this is a short jaunt because I can see where I'm going, so diff 5. 7 successes.
Ooh.
Not enough. Botch.
With 7 successes, you leave your body. Everyone sees Neil slump, and you emerge from your body into the cul-de-sac. The stars are, of course, especially bright. There's this vibrant energy that kind of flows through this area.
The first thing that Neil does as he sort of steps up out of his body is wave his hand really fast in front of Wynn's face.
Do I see anything?
You do not.
Wynn just kind of blinks and makes no reaction.
Oh, well, that's one question answered. And then he starts projecting himself at the speed of thought over towards the house, floating through the doors, looking to look around and find Jane.
Okay, roll willpower.
Oh, no.
Your hands big enough there, Chief?
Of course. It's a lot of dice, Rob, that he's rolling there.
Yeah, don't like this.
What'd you get?
6 successes.
Okay. You arrive to the entrance of the home and find yourself unable to enter. You find yourself lacking the will to proceed.
Come on. Come on! This never happens. Okay. Neil, I guess, will just sort of go around the house, looking on the outside, seeing if he can see anything, and occasionally trying to press at the windows or the walls, or just trying to get into this space.
You find yourself unable to gain access, however, in the window to the attic, there is something that you see. And peering in, you can see a group of people. One of them you immediately recognize to be Detective Suarez, who is sitting down across from Jane, who looks to be in some pretty rough shape. There is a wooden stake driven into her heart. Detective Suarez seems to be taking some notes. Accompanying him, you recognize the cab driver Ramirez, who is slumped in a seat, peering at Jane with almost like a saddened expression. And there is 2 young women and an older woman who is likely the parent that Wynn was discussing.
Oh boy. Okay. And Neil follows the silver thread back to his body.
Okay.
And in the car, in the real realm, just sits back up.
Back already, huh?
Yeah, I can't get in the house.
Why not?
I don't know the answer to that question. It's like something was keeping me out.
Did you try the door?
I tried the door, and I tried the windows on every level of the house, and I tried to go in the chimney, and I tried to go through the walls, and I can't get in the house. It's like there's like a curtain of will drawn over the whole thing. I can't get in.
A curtain of will?
It's the best way I can describe it.
Johnny, who was looking flippant when you first said that you couldn't get in, and kind of made a crack about the door, then suddenly starts to look like he's getting actually concerned, because he sees how concerned you are about this.
I did get to see through the windows. I couldn't get in, but the windows weren't closed. They were in the attic.
What'd you say?
Jane is up there. She's staked, and she looks pretty rough.
Shit.
Suarez is up there. He looks... He's looking at her. He looks... he doesn't know what to do. Do you guys remember that cab driver guy that picked us up on New Year's and a couple other times?
Rodriguez?
No. That wasn't his name. It's something like that, though. What was his... Ramirez. You remember Ramirez?
Yeah, I remember Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez is up there, too. And I don't know. I'm going to guess it's the girl's mom and then 2 other girls. 2 other women. I didn't recognize them. Or Joey's mom. Not the girl's, but I would assume, right? She's the older
5
one.
people up there.
There are 5 people up there.
Including, except for Jane. In addition to Jane, there's 5 people up there with her.
Yeah, it's Suarez and Ramirez. Ramirez looked upset, like he's not happy with how things are going. Sad for Jane, unhappy. And then Joey's mom would be my guess, and some girl I didn't recognize, and then
spread it out.
Worried about Johnny, freaking out.
Wynn puts a hand on Johnny's shoulder.
Hearing that, Johnny gives him a fixed stare, and before he can say anything, pops the door and starts marching towards the front door of the house.
No,
Johnny,
Johnny.
This is why we're supposed to just say it.
Yeah, but I want him frenzy in the fucking car with us.
Can you say it before he gets to the house?
It was his
please?
daughter. It's his daughter is in there.
He's on the way to the house already.
Wynn runs out
Johnny
after
arrives to the front door.
Wynn grabs him by the shoulder. Do not.
I'm gonna knock. Gives a big, strong knock on the front door.
You're gonna let me talk.
There's no response.
This
Is there a doorbell?
There is a doorbell.
He hits the doorbell 3 times. And then knocks again.
After a wait, a woman opens the door. Wynn, you recognize her to be Miss Perillo, Joey's mom. She opens the door with a bit of a stern expression. Can I help you?
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. I don't know how to put this, so I'm just gonna throw everything on the table and you can take it for what it is. I'm taking care of your son.
Johnny kind of gives her a sideways glance.
Little boy named Joey, right? Good boy.
Oh, Wynn, what are you doing?
Why are you here?
A friend of mine is upstairs with the rest of you.
And how do you know that?
We've met before.
Have we?
Yeah, look at my eyes.
You and the things like you are not welcome here. And as soon as we find a way to fix you, I'll be happy to have the conversation about fixing you. But until then, you need to stay off of my property.
We need to get our friend back. She is a good woman and she doesn't deserve what you're doing to her.
Is
Sorry
a
to
girl
hear that.
named Jessica upstairs?
No. She shuts the door.
He puts a hand out and stops it from shutting.
You need to roll willpower if you intend to reach into the house.
Don't think this is gonna go well because you got how many successes in that and that wouldn't work?
I got 6 successes and that did nothing.
I don't suppose Iron Will helps out here, does it?
No, it's not mind control.
That's only 4 successes.
You reach for the door and find yourself unable to trespass past the border of that doorway. And the door just shuts.
Johnny kind of incredulously looks at his hand and blinks a few times. Looks over at Wynn. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He goes to try and touch the door again, realizes he can't. What the hell is this place?
We're not dealing with something normal here, Johnny.
Regroup. Back to the blazer.
Can we just call them, talk? If we can't get in the house, we need them to give us Jane.
I know. I don't know that that's going to work.
When you notice the curtains up on the second floor open, and there is a young woman who starts snapping photos of
Cover
the two of
faces.
you from the window.
Wynn pulls her hoodie down more.
Johnny will actually recognize this to be Sheila from the bar.
He just blatantly looks up at her, puts his hands on his hips, points at her, and makes a come out here gesture.
She seems pretty intimidated by that and closes the curtains.
Do you know her too?
It's a young girl from the bar over at the Sherwood. I helped her out with her boyfriend. Something happened to him in New York. Something real bad.
Okay, well, you helped her out. Your daughter's in there.
You see him kind of when you actually physically say in his presence that it's his daughter, like near him. I'm assuming you're out of the car now, right?
I mean, by the car, but yes, enough where you can hear.
You see him kind of just tense up a little bit.
So I guess,
I don't think we're getting in.
we're not.
Lex, can I make an occult roll?
No.
Okay.
I pushed everything I had against, and in that context, I'm not exactly powerless.
Well, the problem now is that if one of us manages to get in, we're going to be by ourselves, and I don't know if we can get back out.
Beats me, but I don't.
Circle up around the car so they can't hear us discuss things.
Johnny kind of walks to the side of the door, just tries to put a hand out on the house.
You have been able to do it until you knocked.
Gotcha.
But anything past seems to not function.
What if he tries to dig his hand in, like put his nails underneath the siding? Is it if he starts to kind of formulate the intention of ripping off a piece of siding, is that where his hand is suddenly stopped?
No, you find yourself able to do that. Are you ripping up the siding?
No. He's just testing to see where the limits of this are.
In the car, Miles?
In the car, on the other side at least.
All right.
Can we just
We
call them?
It's a possibility,
them?
but I just don't want to be out in the yard discussing it.
Let's get in the car.
All right. Johnny, you and Wynn seem like you have maybe the best chance at getting them to talk to you, and I know they just didn't want to, but how do you think we can maybe get them to try again?
My mind is absolutely racing right now. Apparently, inside that house is my daughter, some woman from the Sherwood that I helped, Detective Suarez, the mother of
My
a
son.
ghost boy that Wynn has looked out for, and one of my dearest friends in the Camarilla, and a cabbie that we interacted with. I have no idea what the hell this is.
This is the weirdest conspiracy I've ever heard because they're all
You can say that again.
And they're doing
tangentially attached to us.
It is a massive masquerade breach is what it is.
Yes, that's part of what I was thinking.
and somehow they've sorceried their way a way to protect from us.
I mean, I guess.
Do you think Reese has a hand here?
I don't think Reese helps anyone.
This
He might help somebody if it's a way of getting at us.
is
I don't think he would care about our cab driver.
I don't think he would go at us through Jane either.
I mean, are they still people? Or
They can't be.
I can look if I see one of them again.
they closed that
It
curtain,
makes
though?
more sense that it's something that might be used in the faces of these people.
we have a couple options here. We also need to test if this is affecting other individuals besides ourselves.
Johnny,
Yeah.
when's your daughter's birthday?
Name's Jessica. She was born on August 10th, 1980.
She's got your last name?
As far as I know, yeah.
That's good enough. And Neil is going to try and ritual portent to see, same way he did against Arabella, to see what the major forces are going on in her life, just to rule out some Reese stuff.
Are you doing this right here?
Oh, we're in the car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay, so you guys are going back into the car.
Yeah,
Well, Miles had told us to get back into the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny's standing
Yeah, go
out
for it.
on the street outside of the car because he's pacing.
You can't pace in the driver's seat. Neil takes 5 minutes and 4 successes.
With 4 successes, you know that there are no strings on her at all. Nothing you can clearly see. And instead, it seems that she is awake and making choices for herself. There's a strength to her that you have not really seen in humans.
Neil takes a little notebook out of his fanny pack and looks at little star maps real quick and continues to do stuff as Johnny paces around the car for a couple of minutes and then looks over and goes, "It's just, I don't understand.
Don't understand what.
It's not Reese. It's not anyone. It's not even that nobody's pulling her strings. She doesn't even have strings. It's like her eyes are open for the first time and she's making all sorts of choices on her own. I haven't seen this kind of, how do you describe it? Clarity of purpose, strength of will. I don't know. I've barely seen that kind of thing in Kindred, let alone just a person. And she's just a person. This doesn't make any sense.
Johnny snaps over to the window. It's my daughter you're talking about.
And she's a person. And I'm saying that she has more will and more purpose, more, I don't know, Johnny, I don't know. Nobody's pulling her strings. She doesn't even have them. You have strings. Miles has strings. We all have strings. Everybody has strings. She doesn't have any.
All right. We have a couple options here. One, seemingly we can't get inside. I don't know if this portrays to everyone or not, but I know that it's unlikely for us to be able to do that. Now, I don't know if that prevents other things from going inside, but we can use mortal forces if we want to escalate this.
What do you mean escalate?
They have a dead person upstairs.
Yeah, but
That's what cops are for.
But these are good people. These are people that we've met along the way, people that have helped us, and
we can't talk to them, and we can't leave Jane with them.
Do we have Suarez's number?
do we have your daughter's number, Johnny?
Do you have the bar girl's number?
I mean, I think we've got Ramirez's number. We've called on him a couple of times as a cab. Plus, he's a dispatch. We could call and talk before we start calling the cops on people.
I could get Suarez's number from the office. I don't have a number for my daughter. I think she called from the house line every time she called my beeper. Sheila, I could call the Sherwood and get her number.
I feel like we need to talk to these people. I agree with Britta. They're a big masquerade problem right now, but they're not
Part of it is I don't
bad
know.
people.
And if they won't talk to us, then what?
I don't know. They've got Jane.
They've
got Jane,
because
and they've
as
got
soon
her in a
as we
place where
start
can't get to them.
pushing some of these buttons, they're going to get spooked.
They're
They're already spooked. We're outside their house.
We're doing the thing where we're putting the cart before the horse. Let's try calling them, and then we can escalate from there if we have to.
Who should we try calling?
Maybe Sheila first?
Who was in charge when you were looking upstairs?
Tough to tell. Suarez has a sense of authority about him, but I don't know if he's in charge.
Probably safe there.
I think the easiest phone number to get would probably be Sheila.
Ramirez looked the most sympathetic to Jane, if it helps.
That might be an in right there.
Or at least he looked upset at the condition she was in.
Sheila or Ramirez, who are we pulling this trigger on?
Take it to a vote.
Call Sheila. I don't have Ramirez's number currently, and I don't want to go through my records. I don't have anyone to go through my records.
Can I borrow someone's phone?
Britta hands her phone over to Johnny.
With a little bit of assistance on getting it started, he dials in the number for the Sherwood.
Sherwood,
Hey, how's it going tonight? It's Saxon.
how you doing, Saxon?
I'm doing all right.
What can I do for you? How you doing?
I was hoping to follow up with that woman who works for you, the one I helped out a few weeks back.
Sheila?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she quit.
Did she?
Yeah.
When'd that happen?
I don't know, 2 weeks ago.
You didn't still happen to have her number, do you?
Yeah, I still got. Let me check for her. Give me a minute.
I appreciate it.
You kind of hear the sounds of like a bar starting to kind of really get active in the background. 20-30 seconds go by and before he's back on the line. Hey, yeah, here's the number. I guess it's gonna be 555, and then he like rattles off a number.
Johnny pulls out a pencil and some paper, because that's something he definitely carries on him, and scratches down the number.
Everything okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure she was doing all right. That business with her boyfriend wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
Everything good around the bar lately?
Yeah. So about the boyfriend, the police were by. I had some questions about him, but once I let them know that she wasn't working here anymore, they kind of moved on.
The police? Anyone in particular?
No, I didn't really get any names. It was a pretty quick ordeal.
Beat cop or detective?
Look like beat cops.
All right, well, you take care of yourself. You hit my beeper up if you need anything.
Yeah, same.
Johnny hangs up, and then using the number he's just scratched down, dials it back into the cell phone, and waits.
It rings for a bit, but eventually, you hear a quiet, hello?
Sheila?
What do you want?
This is Johnny Saxon. I'm assuming you remember me.
I remember you.
Are you, upstairs?
I'm not really at liberty to discuss.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes.
However you need to take it.
The person that you have upstairs is a friend of mine, and I would appreciate it if you let them go. Now, I don't know what kind of negotiations we need to make to see that happen, but I'm willing to make those negotiations.
Johnny, you are sick, afflicted with something terrible, and I know exactly how we're going to fix it, but we will. And I know what's going on with your friend is scary, but it's a necessary part of the process to making you better.
Look, you have the vaguest idea of what's going on with me and my friends.
Johnny, I know that there's something wrong with you, and it makes you hurt people. And I know that sometimes you feel really, really bad about
and
the
I
things
know
you
that
do
you're
to people.
barely legal to drink alcohol, so I think your view of the world is probably a little bit limited. And if I understand it correctly, you also have an 18-year-old girl up there by the name Jessica, right?
Johnny, I'm going to pretend you didn't just try to condescend me.
Oh, I certainly did just condescend you.
You know
and
what's
now
really
you're making
condescending, Johnny? She hangs up.
Buddy, that was not a productive conversation.
You see him roll over the strong desire to crush the phone.
Wynn reaches over and picks the phone out of his hands.
Britta reaches over and puts her palm over Neil's mouth.
Wynn hands the phone back to Britta.
Britta uses her other hand to take her phone back, puts it in her pocket, does not remove her palm from Neil's mouth.
Was anything learned in that conversation?
No. Other than the fact that I'm pretty sure that was Sheila. And they think that we're sick with something.
I mean, in a sense.
I mean, wait, what if they're right? What if this is like an illness that could be cured?
It's more of a curse than an illness, but yes.
If they're trying to fix us and make us not vampires?
We're dead. If they fix being a vampire, we're just a corpse.
Fixing this bullshit is something that all of us have thought about. A lot. You have had a very busy few months learning how to just survive as a kindred. But let me tell you, after the first couple of years, you start getting really desperate trying to fix this. You start doing things to test the limits of this curse. And it can get really bad, and not everybody makes it through. But eventually you learn to live with this.
Or you don't, because you're not something that needs to be fixed. You're something new.
Did they sound like they had, like, a plan to fix us or fix Jane or...
To be perfectly honest, Sheila still sounds like the obnoxious bartender that I helped out a couple of weeks ago.
When I saw them in the attic, I got the impression that they were debating. I don't know how organized this little clique is here.
If maybe we could help them with however they want to try and fix us. I mean, Neil said it was something that he'd never seen in people before. Maybe they know something, the magic that they have, that's...
Are they trying to fix Jane? Is that what they're doing? Or are they trying to learn how to fix us by examining Jane?
I don't know.
Either way, good people have kidnapped a person.
Good people have kidnapped a good person.
Can you call that number for one more time? I think I've calmed down and could talk to her.
Maybe we let someone who's not Johnny talk to her. Wait, no, you still have your hand over your mouth.
Well, you've been talking,
yeah,
so I
right.
assume that you gently moved
I could put
my
a filter
wrist
over
or
all
something.
that.
I assume when you started to talk that Britta slowly slipped her hand away a little bit to let you give your attempt.
He licks her hand. She's like, oh. And he starts talking.
You get slapped.
Do not do that. Do not speak for me.
All right, Johnny, but yeah, maybe just ask for your daughter if it doesn't work, and Britta hands over the phone.
Can you redial it?
Oh, yeah, and Britta takes it back, dials it quickly, and hands it to Johnny.
The phone is now in your hand.
I'm waiting for the, is it ringing?
Okay, so you call.
Yep.
It rings, and it goes to, like an answering machine.
Sheila's answering machine?
Yeah, like it's forwarded to an answering machine.
After the beep happens, let me know that I can put a call down. This is Johnny Saxon. I have calmed down since our last talk, but I wanted to point out that I realize that this is perhaps not the way you would like to meet or discuss us with us standing outside of your house. But the fact that you have our friend does not change anything. We want her back, and we want to talk about how we can make that happen. If you can figure out a way where we can meet on neutral ground, somewhere where you feel safe to talk to us, let us know. If you do not, and you ignore us...
I will hang up the phone right there. You're talking into a recording.
Yes.
Don't get recorded.
I was going to say we have to call the authorities.
Yeah, don't do that either. Don't tip them off to our things. We have options, but we don't have them if we start outlining them.
I don't think telling them that we're going to call the authorities is outlining a possibility that they're
It's a moot
unaware
point. Phone
of.
is hung up.
Right. Look, if we start using the authorities, we don't want them time to prepare.
Also, I don't know that calling the cops is going to help us, because I guarantee Suarez still has friends.
So do we.
I would outweigh his friends against ours.
Some of his friends can be
Sure, here's the issue though, Miles.
changed.
I can help you.
I basically shake my head at him right now, like trying, in the middle of trying to discuss, and I just like shake my head.
Well, we can't change his friends. I mean...
Well, so let's take the logical path. The sort of... if we call the authorities, right, and it goes to like a trial or whatever, none of us have, if I was Suarez, I would say fine, and we'll talk about this, maybe even get arrested or arraigned or whatever. Let's talk about this in the morning. I don't think any of us is going to show up to an arraignment or stick around to talk to the cops or things, and Suarez has a lot more time to talk to them than we do.
That's why we have lawyers for a lot of that. And the city runs itself.
Yes and no. Does it right now?
The regular city? Yes.
But, Miles...
How much of the regular town of New Haven do we really want to get involved with this?
How many questions do we want being brought up?
They have figured us out somehow.
These problems have existed before, and they've also gone away.
This problem has not existed before.
Not in the same fashion, correct.
Trying to be as sober about this as I can. If this was a problem given to me by the sheriff's office, and I was dealing with this as a bully boy, recovering Jane would be the priority. Pulling her out of a morgue would not be difficult, and 4 mortals having effectively been found with a corpse with a wooden stake driven through their heart, their testimony be written off as the bullshit of 4 crazies. They'd be on the news for maybe a night or 2, and then it would be swept under the rug.
Maybe, except other thought, yeah? It seemed like they were debating what to do with Jane, and it seemed like there were a couple of different sides, and if we put a shot clock on that may make them make a decision real fast.
That's what I said about not warning them.
So...
I mean, like, cop cars show up, or somebody calls Suarez because he does still have friends in the office, we can assume. I'm trying not to, just spiral down worst-case scenarios here, but...
We can't get in the building.
No.
Okay, what if we throw a rock in there with a message on it?
Okay,
I don't think we need to do that. We can just text them.
That may not get to all of them. Someone in there is going to be sympathetic to us. I feel like it's probably Ramirez. I thought it could have been Joey's mom, but apparently she's freaked out.
What if it's not a rock?
I'm hoping that Sheila listens to the message and they come back with us with an offer of how they would like to talk to us. Because I can understand that having a group of kindred outside, when they're obviously tuned into what we're capable of, could be a very difficult thing to swallow.
What if it's not a rock and it's like some kind of tranquilizer or something, and I guess we'd have to test Miles's theory to see if we could get someone who wasn't like us inside, but...
Wait, tranquilizer? You're talking about gassing the place?
I don't
Dart guns?
know. Alright, following this through, if they don't contact us, we can't wait them out. We can't be out here during the day. If they just ignore us, we don't have a way in. We can't... What else can we do to not hurt them?
To be fair... We might have a way in. I just don't know if I want to cause that level of property damage.
Driving the car through the wall?
I'm pretty sure I can just actually peel back some of the wall. I can jump up on that roof, and I can go straight through it.
Reminder that I tried to do that.
You were incorporeal.
Uh-huh. And I couldn't get through the walls or the windows or the roof.
And anything we start doing like that is very hostile.
And visible.
Yeah.
And if I couldn't project myself through immaterial matter, Johnny, you might get 6 inches into that wall, or however big a wall is, and stop.
While the group of you are talking, you start to notice that curtains, windows, all over the cul-de-sac start kind of opening, and people start watching the group of you from inside their homes.
Oh, God.
We're still mostly in the car. Johnny's just pacing around.
Yeah, everyone, people are all kind of looking at this car.
Cops or nothing, they might have called the neighborhood watch.
Johnny, get in the car.
Is this an area of New Haven where that might be a case?
Yeah, it's a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
I hate to say this, because I want to help Jane, but we might have to just go. This could escalate real bad, and not in a way that's favorable to us right now.
I don't know how to show our good intentions if we stay tonight. Backing off might be the best way to show them that we're willing to reason.
Leave a note in the mailbox and go.
Johnny will pull out his notebook, write down his beeper number.
Write down all of our numbers, Johnny.
I'm gonna put just the beeper number.
Put mine down too.
Okay. He'll put Johnny's beeper number and he'll put Wynn's number on the piece of paper. Go over to the door, and basically, since he can knock, he'll basically put it under the knocker on the door.
When you crouch down to leave the message at the door opens, and what you see is a man much smaller than you, older. You definitely recognize Detective Suarez. He's got kind of a moth-eaten jacket, a yellow button-down shirt, black tie, brown, like, pants and old shoes that are all scuffed up.
Johnny kind of looks him up and down and puts out the note with the phone numbers on it, hands it over to him.
He does not reach for it.
Kind of shrugs.
You kind of get the impression he might not be wanting to reach past
absolutely. He bends down and puts it down on the ground on the porch.
The man that came with you, who is he? The blonde one.
Friend of mine.
Tell your friend that I remember everything. And he shuts the door.
Wynn kind of smacks the side of the car. Johnny, let's go.
Johnny reaches down, picks up the note, pulls the pencil out, and underneath the numbers writes, Jessica, I will pick up this time. Please call. Love, Dad. Puts it back down on the ground, and then heads back over to the car.
You guys regroup at the car.
We should head out.
Johnny's kind of leaning against the driver's side door, looking down at the ground, and he kind of slowly looks up and in the car. Suarez says he remembers everything, Miles.
I did think that was a possibility.
Neither did I.
No. I thought it was a distinct possibility that he would break through. His willpower was considerable.
Have you ever heard of a mortal man ever breaking through Dominate like that? I haven't.
Not in a while.
So it's something that can happen.
It depends. There are things that can mess with the memory.
We could talk about this while driving.
Wynn's right. Let's go. Johnny gets in, starts the Blazer, and turns around in the cul-de-sac and starts heading out.
Johnny, I'm sorry this is how you're seeing your daughter again.
He just kind of nods and pops a Morley in his mouth.
I don't know. Obviously none of us know what's going on, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Wynn kind of sits in the back seat, kind of sprawled out, and using her thumbnail to clean out her other nails on her hand. God knows what's under there. So, here's the big question, guys. How much of this do we present to the rest of the domain?
None currently.
If I was some of this domain, my first instinct wouldn't have been tranquilizers. They're gonna look at this and see a bunch of mortals who know too much, right? They're gonna see a threat. They're gonna see a threat that's capable of taking a strong kindred out from a well-protected haven, keeping her there. They already wanted to get rid of Suarez, right? So if we tell them, then we know how this escalates.
Would it get us Jane back?
No. If I was the domain, I wouldn't give two shits about getting Jane back in the face of a masquerade breach like this, let alone, Britta's right, the threat that something like that could pose, where someone could just bust into your haven and take you like that. I'd send some bully boys to throw a few Molotovs through the windows. And you don't have to get inside, you burn everyone down, and even if they escape, Jane is still inside.
He's not wrong.
That's what they'll do.
Currently, the domain is in the know.
If we want to try and save Jane, and if we want to not hurt these people, I don't think we can tell them. Not until we know more.
Being that I am Seneschal, the domain is aware.
That there are people.
Yep, I'm aware.
Both the Seneschal and the acting sheriff are aware.
Okay. Yeah, fair
So-
enough. That's good. So we don't have to tell the prince.
Right.
I don't think he's in the right mindset. anyways.
We at least have.
Well, he
we have
should
a.
know, actually, shouldn't he?
No.
Well, this pertains to him.
This would be... He's dealing with the thing from Quentin still.
He would
That's
delegate to the sheriff.
Right. It's my job to deal with it.
How far are we willing to go with this?
I guess the question is, who do we prize more at this point?
We need to hope that they're willing to reach out after that message I left.
How much time?
How
can
bad?
we
How
give it?
bad was I?
Good, not great?
That's better than I can expect for.
Uh,
Sometimes
Very-
I kind of blank out when I start saying things.
Very nice of you to say, Wynn.
They've had mixed...
Interaction?
with us, correct.
You were a little aggressive, Johnny.
They already have reason if Suarez remembers what Miles did.
Can you find Jane again if they move her?
I can find Jane. Unless they...
They have no reason to move her. We can't get in. Moving her would mean that we have an opportunity to take her back.
Unless they think of the same firebombing plan that I do. It depends on how paranoid they are.
And how much they know about what they can keep out with whatever sorcery they're doing.
Who knows?
They can also move during the day.
Right.
Box Jane up, take her somewhere else. Hopefully, if they understand that, or if they think they understand what we are, and they presumably know that we can't be in the sun, hopefully they will take care of her during the day.
So, we don't have a reason to think they're going to kill her right away. They've had her for a couple days, and they broke into her haven, presumably during the day, with all the curtains down like that. So, they could have just killed her, but they didn't.
That's why I'm wondering if they're studying her.
Or maybe they're debating. Like I said, I don't think that was a unified... I mean, we fight all the time. These people gotta...
We bicker.
It's the same thing. It's just a degree.
She says, remembering that her haven is slightly
propped
askew.
up by cinder blocks.
We
And a
need to set some form of timer on this. We can wait for some amount of time to see, Johnny, if your daughter calls or if one of them takes you up on it. But we don't know how long this lasts, and
I'm gonna go with the night. We
give it a day.
I think one thing that we might need to do is we might need to call some people who are not
To watch?
kindred. I don't know if you have anybody that you might trust to act as a negotiator, or at least someone that we can post to watch them during the day.
It doesn't need to be a person to watch them during the day.
What are you thinking?
Birds, chaps.
Okay. We need to at least set up that. But we also need to do it in a way where we're not breaking trust with them, right?
currently, but
They are a masquerade threat.
they're a threat. Not just to the masquerade.
Yeah, there does need to be a qualifier.
It can be both.
But if they're
They
seen
broke
to
into
be,
a haven and took a vampire out of her home.
if they're seen to be a masquerade threat, then us trying to protect them and that being seen by the domain will not be well received.
Exactly.
Thankfully, we have a little bit of time. There is a killing spree of sorts that is a far greater threat and demanding the attention of most of the court of New Haven. We at least have a couple of nights to deal with this before it gets to anybody else's attention.
Except I also had the impression that the court was kind of waiting on us to deal with this killing spree. At least part of it. So it's not a they have another problem so we can deal with this problem. It's a we have two problems. We have three problems.
Okay.
We have a lot of problems.
We have enough problems that we can move from this and give it some amount of time, whether that be a night or more. We don't know how much time we have. We have no way of guessing how much time we have. But we do have other things that we can focus on while we're hoping that they'll call us back, right? So we set some sort of timer and we decide how far we're willing to escalate when we know that they're not, when we can't wait any longer for them to reach out.
The longer we wait, the more prepared they are.
And the more
Right.
opportunity they have to decide what to do with Jane.
Or to figure out where our havens are.
Yeah, they definitely drew a lot of attention to mine with the cops, and if we assume that Suarez has connections, still. We had Ramirez take us to your place. The only ones I think they don't know about are
Sheila is aware I live near the Sherwood. I don't know if she knows I live under it.
Does anyone?
The owner of the Sherwood.
And you said Sheila was a bartender?
Yeah,
So, not a hard puzzle to put together.
possibly.
You guys could stay at my place for a bit.
I think your place and maybe Wynn's are the only ones that they don't know about.
Well,
Not easy anyways.
Mine's completely off of public record. I
You
have
said
filed no paperwork for it, so
Joey
there's no
talked
paper
to his
trail.
mom, though.
Yeah,
And Joey stays at your place.
yeah.
the
Joey stays with me. That's...
your haven might not be as secure as you think either. Suarez is aware of the two of you, and he's a pretty damn good detective. We did some paperwork to figure out that you owned that place. I'm assuming that he could probably do similar paperwork too.
We might need a group holiday, guys.
We can't leave the city though. There's
I didn't say leave the city.
Find a temporary haven for all of us to stay together.
Yeah. I don't think we can afford to not watch each other's back at this point.
with both the killing spree and these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I can sleep in the dirt. It really doesn't matter to me where we choose.
Okay, well, it definitely matters to me because I can't do that. And I want us all around the same place. I think if we're going to be staying places now, I think for tonight, my opinion, right? Tonight, maybe I think we Britta, if you're still okay with us staying, I think we all stay together there, and then we start looking for, because you don't want to do it haphazard either. Credit card records and stuff can be traced, and
I need to talk to Joey.
I mean, I haven't even been back to my haven yet.
That's okay.
I've been
Where have you been?
avoiding it.
Neil, where have you been staying?
Around the neighborhood.
What?
I think the first night, didn't you stay at Johnny's place at one point?
I stayed with Johnny the first night.
Yeah.
I with Johnny, and then I was staying with Fester for a couple of days.
Okay.
And now it's tonight. I just haven't wanted to go home yet, and now I definitely don't. Although I do have to get some stuff at some point, so.
Are we in agreement that we'll wait until tomorrow night and see if maybe they take us up on talking?
Yeah, well, we can make this a tomorrow night problem because we can't do anything right now.
I'm gonna talk to some folks and have them watch, and we wait until tomorrow.
In the meantime, there are other things we have to get accomplished. You still have to talk to the Setites.
I have a few phone calls to make.
I've got to do some footwork to see if I can find my wayward child.
I thought we were going to call him.
We could do that. I mean, not to get super sidetracked, what do you want to do with Vito? Is this just a...
Ideally, I'd like to try and give him over to the Justicars.
So if we can find him, do we just want to bash him real hard? I don't know what you want to do.
The Justicars, you said?
Well, I don't know any Justicar, but we happen to know an Archon. He looks over at Miles.
Right. I'm not even sure if they want him anymore.
Maybe see if you can get in touch with your sire.
That's on my list of calls. But remember, he was going to be used to punish Shaw.
That was the only reason they wanted him. They wanted to give him to the Tremere to study.
We'll see if you can get him. See if you can get your sire to pick up and maybe ask him what he wants done about that.
I have a couple conversations I need to have with him, so it's on my list. Hopefully I can get through. But I don't know. Is there anything concretely we can do without...
I can try and also do some more footwork to see if we can find out any leads about where the killing spree is.
I can do that. I've got ears on the ground. I haven't been pushing because we've had so much other stuff going on, but we can look.
Would it help having a child of one of the killing spree members give you some of their blood?
I appreciate the weight of the offer you're making there, but I kind of meant doing this the old-fashioned way.
Okay. Now you're talking my language.
Easy enough to... I know people on the street ask for, hot spots and...
I thought you were planning on talking to the Bruja and seeing what Amara wants.
Calling for a rant is something that I do need to do. I wasn't going to trouble all of you with that. That's just going to be an unpleasant experience all around.
I think we need to get into a better habit of troubling each other with our individual burdens.
He nods appreciatively at that.
I want to talk to Joey. Won't be hard, but...
Ask him what his mom's been saying.
Ask him if his perspective of talking to Mom is a conversation or a one-way conversation.
So, does that mean we're going to your place tonight, or are we going to Britta's Haven tonight?
I need to go to my haven at some point. And plus, I know how to find the animals around there better.
No offense, but your place is kind of small, and if all 5 of us are going to be there...
It's a dangerous place to sleep. Yeah.
Stacked up like cordwood in a one-entrance room is not exactly where I want to be.
No.
So can we swing by where you're at and then maybe come back to my place?
We're
I'm
not
fine
far
with
from the
that.
park either way.
You want me to drop you off at the park? And I'll take everybody over to Britta's.
Are we still doing the buddy system?
Yeah, we're not
Yes.
supposed to be splitting up.
Okay, then someone come with me.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
2, you gonna be alright?
Should be.
I have no idea.
Also, we probably should do something about the weird mushrooms growing by my place.
I don't... We have so much to...
Put it on the list. It's not actively trying to eat us right now, so...
It's so far as we know.
As far as we know, but I really don't want it doing something to the local wildlife, and then we have multiple weeping bears on our hands.
Keep an eye on it, and we'll try. But right now, not on my highest priorities.
If you want, you could try a little bit of the old Johnny magic.
Firebomb it?
He tosses you his Zippo.
I think that's how they got there in the first place.
Well, fungal systems always grow underground. If you destroy the above mushrooms, it's not going to do anything because the core of it is beneath the earth.
You know a lot about mushrooms.
I used to... Britta kind of looks blank and isn't sure how she was going to finish that sentence.
Okay, sorry.
That's one of the less scary, awesome things we've learned about you.
Thanks.
It was meant as a compliment. Sorry if that wasn't clear.
Oh, We'll see you back, all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Stay safe, everybody. Okay.
Johnny will drop the two of them off near the park, and he will snatch his Zippo back because he realizes that he needs that. Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Ventru was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode was edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Love Fest by Technoaxe. Visit them online at technoaxe.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade is owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Path of Night Pod, on Facebook at facebook.com/Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred. Moving to me. Talking about Johnny Saxon.
What would happen if you yes-sirred Rollins in that context, Johnny Saxon?
Oh, God. I would GNC. I don't know. Yeah, even worse than that is if he dominates you to call him Daddy. Yes, Daddy. It's his dad. Oh. Could you imagine? What a horrible Ventru discipline.
You
Gives back her bottle of tequila.
No, it's a Ventru combi where every time that you go to refer to them with a pronoun, you use the word daddy. Yeah,
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing it does.
But it GNC's everyone.
It's a fucking dementation dominate combi.
We can't practice against Daddy. Damn it!
Dude, that's the most frightening fucking discipline, like combi discipline I've ever wrote as a custom.
Call me Daddy.
All right, Johnny,
Call me
I'm
Daddy.
gonna-
It's a dementation dominate combi. Let's do
Daddy
this.
says we have to be more
Fuck!
bound to Daddy.
All right, in a second, get loud. Wait, we're gonna practice Daddy?
No! We gotta end this motherfucker!
All right, that's too loud, but if we can go lower than that, or we can adjust you for that. Can we go a little bit lower?
Yeah, we can absolutely go lower than that. But this guy is not, Daddy is not surviving the night because I cannot be referring to him as Daddy every time I try to talk about him. Daddy.
All right, I think that's all I need from you. Lex, what's
That's
up?
all we ever need from him again.
Practice. Who are you going to declare practice on again? Daddy.
You.
This is the worst headcanon I've ever come up with. This is so cursed, I'm sorry.
Thanks for that, buddy.
So, it
Daddy
sounds
is
like
displeased.
we're going to have to sound test Daddy quite a bit, so if you could keep going with them.
Daddy needs extra.
Daddy is extra.
No.
This is 100% your fault.
We're gonna need louds for Daddy if we're gonna actually do this.
Daddy can be loud.
No, Daddy, don't get loud.
Garrett just fully left the room.
No, I actually genuinely do
Daddy!
it aloud when people aren't talking.
Oh, no.
Also, we found another post-credit segment.
Fuck.
Bring me Johnny. Daddy's displeased. It works on him too.
The worst part is, the power also works on him.
Sorry. Rebecca's trying to hurt us.
Quiet for a second. I do need the loud without talking.
Garrett, you got some blood trickling down your mouth and biting your tongue.
Alright, could you please
it's just my brain
get
melting.
upset with Miles for the insult that he has paid?
Daddy! Wait, no, that's me. You don't practice daddy. You're not the daddy. I'm the daddy.
You know what? That got you perfectly loud. Is there any other NPC other than Daddy that we need to test right now?
Guys, we can't do this. This is not a good... Like, I realize I started this. This is my fault, but we can't. We can't.
We gotta stop. I know that I empowered this, but we gotta put it back in the box.
You can't put Daddy back in the box.
Yo, I'm gonna call Kabir.
Nobody puts daddy in the box but daddy.
Kabir, I need you to help me out with some horde reality. God, guys, we're creating a really awful energy in the recording space right now.
I see. Calling the moon, the stars to tell us when the best time is to move against Daddy. Tonight is an auspicious night to punish Daddy.
Woohoo!
No, we're on the Daddy thing. We're off the Mickey Mouse thing.
No. It's bad.
Turns out you could probably do
Woo!
both.
Tonight is an auspicious night to off Daddy! Woohoo!
God damn it!